Namaskaram. We are in Khandava Daha in Mahabharatam, where Krishna and Arjuna together help Agni to consume the Khandava forest as cure for his stomach ailment. And most of the forest with all the animals and plants in them were burned down. We said a few escaped with the permission, blessing of Krishna and Arjuna. One was Maya, the builder architect of the Asuras. Then was the serpent Takshaka's son, who was consumed by his mother, and Takshaka wasn't there, but his mother saved his son by consuming it. The mother died, but the son was saved. And the third were four Sarnga birds. That is where we left last day. And the reason they were saved was, there is a story behind it. That's what we will go into now. There was a sage by name Mandapala. He was a great sage. He spent his entire lifetime in meditation. Naturally, he expected to go to heaven because he didn't commit any evil deed, any sin, and all the time, all days in his life, he was deep in meditation, thinking only, praying only to God. But surprisingly, when he went to the other world, he was taken to various hells. Of course, he didn't have to suffer, but he was taken, but they didn't take him to heaven. And he was surprised. He said, "Why is that I am not being taken to heaven in spite of my lifetime of merits?" But they said, "Yes, you did meditation, but you didn't have children, and you can't escape the hell called Pum. Some people call it Putta. The hell named Pum is for people who didn't have children to save them from it." And Mandapala didn't know about it. And he said, "Then how can I now make amends to that?" They said, "You should go back to earth, get male children, and then you will be saved from this hell." And Mandapala came back to earth, and then he thought, how could I get children easily? Who will accept me as a husband to make children? And he found birds to be the best choice because they were very prolific in making progenies. And he approached a Sarnga bird who was young, and she accepted him. Of course, he took the shape of another Sarnga male bird. Her name was Jerita, and Jerita accepted him and produced 4 male birds in quick succession. And Mandapala then left Jerita and accepted another Sarnga bird as his partner. Jerita stayed in the Khandava forest with her 4 male childs. It was then that Agni started burning down the forest. Krishna and Arjuna were guarding so that nothing would escape from the forest. And Jarita could have flown up, but his chicks were too young. They couldn't fly. They didn't have wings yet. So she couldn't carry them because there were 4 of them. She couldn't take them all. Whom to take and whom to leave? That was a difficult choice. And she couldn't leave them behind as well because they couldn't protect themselves. They were too young. And that was a big hesitation. Jarita would try to fly out, then think of the children, come back. After a while, the children said, "Mother, you go. You can't help us. So what is the use of you also dying? You could go to another, you can have another male and have more children. We are doomed to die here." But Jarita couldn't accept that. She looked around and found a hole in the trunk of a tree and asked them, "You go into this hole, I shall seal it from outside with mud, you will be safe. And when the forest has burned down completely, I shall come back and save you." But they said, "No, we are afraid because there is sure to be some animals like rats or snakes to eat us down. It is better we die in the fire than in some animals and birds like that. Some animals like ants and snakes, rats." Jarita said, no, there will be nothing. I saw a snake, an eagle eating a rat which came out of this. So it should be safe, but they refused to go. And ultimately, half-heartedly, with a lot of hesitation, Jarita left the place. Meanwhile, Mandapala, who came to know of the burning down of Khandava, came there looking for his sons. And it was too hot for him to go in. He couldn't save them. So outside, he prayed to Agni sincerely. That prayer itself is quite interesting. A beautiful prayer. It started saying, "O Agni, you are the face of the gods in accepting the offerings in yajna." Agni is called the mukha, the mouth of gods, because what is offered to gods is offered in the fire, and the fire accepts that and carries it to the respective gods. That is the concept. And like that, it's a beautiful prayer. It reminds of prayers in the Veda, Rigveda, prayers to Agni. The Rigveda itself starts with a prayer to Agni. Agni mile purohitam yajnasya devam ritwijam hodaram ratnadhatamam. Like that it goes. Rigveda is full of such prayers, and this is in that style. And Agni was pleased and said, "I will take care of that." Agni offered. And when Jarita left, the the children, four of them, they also started praying on their own. A similar prayer by them, and Agni was pleased with their prayer, and Agni remembered that their father Mandapala had requested him to spare his sons. So Agni spared them. That is how the four sons, four Sarnga birds were saved. And when the burning down was over, the Jarita came, and she was happy to find her chicks safe. Thus, the Khandava forest was consumed by Agni. Agni was very happy and blessed Arjuna and Krishna. Indra, though he tried to defeat Agni's efforts, and though he had fought with Krishna and Arjuna, who were trying to save Agni, when the whole thing was over, Indra was happy and came down to Arjuna and Krishna saying that he is happy. And when Arjuna asked for some boons, Indra said, "No, I shall wait for the right time. You will in future do meditation on Lord Shiva, and he will be blessing you with many boons. At that time I shall give mine to you." So saying, Agni also, as Indra also left. With that, this Khandavadaha Parva and the next Mayadarishana Parva, in which the story of the Sarnga birds happened, that's also over. And the Adi Parva, the first large Parva of Mahabharata gets over with this. The next is the Sabha Parva, the Parva of gambling, which is a big turning point in Mahabharata. We shall continue with that next day. Namaskaram.